Okay guys, so I've been slacking. I haven't done a video since the first couple that I did. So I really got to get back on track with this. So decided instead of procrastinating, just go through and work on some of the stuff that I'm working on in the shop. So got some goodies in the mail today. We've got our 20 horsepower LaPon VFD here. We're going to use this for the Quincy compressor install that I'm putting in. It's a Quincy 350, 3-phase, 10 horsepower. So I do have a rotary phase converter. I use that for my CNC and vacuum pump and dust collection system. So it's fairly loaded with that. So I decided I really wanted to go with something that I could use and not have to turn the rotary phase converter on. So we picked this guy out, ordered it off Amazon. So it's a pretty good looking unit. So you can take the front cover off. You can see it's pretty simple wiring setup. Motor leads go out here to 3-phase motor. Bring in single phase or 3-phase power. We'll be going single phase. So that's the reason for upping the horsepower to a 20 horsepower. It's kind of rule of thumb that you double it. So control power be on one of these. Have to look at the manual to see exactly. Should be just take some power, 2 wires from the pressure switch to give control signal for the forward run. So we're gonna get this thing mounted up. I bought a 24 by 24 by 12 inches deep, just a metal electrical enclosure. So we're gonna mount it inside of it, install some fans, so we can get some fresh air to keep it cool while it's in the mechanical room, get everything wired up, and we'll walk you through the process. Stay tuned. Okay, so here's the enclosure. It's a 24 by 24 by 12. It's a little cheaper box than I'm used to working with, a little thinner material. Really don't need a thick box, so we're gonna be okay with that. So it's, like I said, 24 by 24 by 12. Really need this extra room just really for the airflow to get plenty of room around the VFD so it'll stay cool. The enclosures really just keep this thing from just any kind of dust and contaminants. It does have the removable back plane. Wish this was a little thicker. It helps when you can drill and tap them. I'm with the through bolt with these. It's really not a problem. Like I said, we're only gonna mount a few things in there. So let's get started. We'll go through and get the VFD mounted, get everything wired up, and then take it from there. Okay, so we've got our temporary little work table set up here. So we're still setting up the shop, trying to get all the components. So we've got our enclosure here. We've got to mount our fan. We're gonna put it on the bottom right-hand side. We've got a louvered vent. It's gonna go on the top right-hand side, so we get that cross flow across the VFD cabinet. So we shouldn't have any issues. I believe this fan's about 237 CFMs, I believe what specs was, free flow. So once we put a filter and everything on that to keep the dust out, it'll probably go down a little bit, but we'll still have plenty. So we're gonna try to get the holes drilled in this thing, get these mounted real quick, then we'll lay out our back plane and go from there. Okay, so positioned our fan on the outside, marked center location where we're gonna drill the hole. I've actually got a hole saw that I'd used, I think put in some recessed lighting that's gonna work for this. So we're gonna drill our hole right here. We'll mount the fan on the inside, put our cages. We need to slow her down a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna put this one on the floor. The last one grabbed on us. These large hole saw bits don't always do the best. So we're gonna put this one so we can get a little bit more leverage on it. Still not easy, but I think that went a little bit better. Okay, so we got the holes in, got some rough edges. Gonna go ahead and hit those with a grinder and a flap disc. Okay, so you can see we're going to lay the fan on top. There was just a slight miscalculation. It's not going to really matter. This thing will have a screen on the outside of it, but you can see the very side right here that we've got a little bit of a gap on both sides because it's not a complete circle. It's flat on both sides. I didn't pay attention to that. So we're going to get our holes marked real quick and transferred. I've already stuck a transfer punch. We'll go ahead and drill them out. These are very close to the edge, so we've probably got to use a washer as well. Starting with a little 1/8 inch bit. I need to go up one size. It's going to take most of the material out, I'm afraid. But with it just being a cooling fan, I think we're okay. You can see not a whole lot of meat left there. Clean those burrs and get the fan mounted. Okay, so we got our burrs cleaned up. You can see this grill. It's a perfect fit for it. Like I said, it's just a little too large on the outside for the fan because it wasn't round. Slight miscalculation, but what we'll do is we'll stick our fan on the inside of the cabinet. This fan does have an airflow as well as rotation. So we're gonna pull air in our cabinet and pressurize it, keep all the dust out of it. So we're gonna want this to face the inside of the cabinet. Okay, so I went ahead and flipped the cabinet over, mounted the fan on the screws, just need to tighten it up. It's a little tough getting my head in there to get the camera view, so we'll take and snug these up real quick, move to the next step. All right, our fan is mounted. Okay, so our cabinet is complete. So the fan is installed. We'll be wired up when we get the back plane in. Incoming power hole for the conduit. 2 out for the control and compressor. We've got our out vent. This will get a filter. I'll probably just put it on the bottom, just cut some square material and magnet. Make it easy to change out when you do the maintenance. Probably will. You can kind of see just a little bit on the edge of that where it's flat instead of round where the gap's at. I think the filter will cover it, but I might go ahead and stick some caulk on that as well just to seal it on up. Let's get started on the back plane. Okay, so you can see we've got the VFD. Also got a little mini circuit breaker and a power distribution block. That way I can power the temperature controller you can see on the top. It's just a digital controller for a thermostat to turn the fan on when the cabinet gets too hot. So we're gonna figure out, we'll probably cut the plug off the controller, wire it directly into the breaker. So I'll have to pull a neutral in for this as well. So the 110, because the drive's gonna be 240 volts. So pull a neutral in here as well as ground. So let's get all this stuff mounted up. Okay, so I'll show you what I've done here. Just took 1/4-inch bolts, stuck them through from the back side. Put a jam nut on the front. We'll mount our VFD to that. That way if we've ever got to take it out, we can just unloosen the nut on the outside. This actually kind of serves two purposes. It'll give us a little bit of an air gap behind the VFD so it can blow air across the heat sink. So twofold. Okay, so we got the back plane wired up. You can see distribution block on this side. I'll be bringing in my single phase top 2 lugs jumper over to the mini circuit breaker, which that'll be controlling a digital thermostat, which will be wired into the fan. I'll also have to bring in a neutral and a ground for the cabinet so I can get the 120 volts. So we're going to take the VFD off real quick, get it mounted into the panel, and then we'll put the VFD back on. It's a little hard to get the back plane in with the fan and the filter in, the exhaust filter side. So let's take and get this real quick, and then we'll show you what it looks like when it's all mounted up. All right, so here's the Quincy 350. Still needs a little cleaning up, but we'll do that later. Got this in my mechanical room. Got the Sullivan Paltec dryer, dust collection going up and over. A little bit of mess over here on the electrical side, 3-phase panel. Got everything that's vacuum pump. Got my rotary phase converter on top, 440 volt transformer. So VFD enclosure, gonna mount it in this panel. See it's mounted. We got the incoming power coming out of the panel, right above where the fan's at. 2 conduits going over. Those are going to be in junction box. One of those is going to have pressure switch wires. One of them will have the power wires going in the compressor. Then I'll run those 1/2-inch flex out of there. Okay, so here's the VFD enclosure mounted. Everything's wired up. Just going to run you through it real quick. We've got our incoming power coming to our DIN rail terminal lugs. You can see 240 volts at the top, comes through the lugs out to terminals T and R. You can see on this one they've put some silicone on the center terminal. Since it is 240 volts, you can use this as 3-phase. Our motor leads goes out from right here. They go out the top conduit and go over to our compressor motor. You can see the twisted wires. They come up here to D1 and the common. This is just a pressure switch control that gives the VFD a signal to turn on and off. The VFD is off right now. I'll show you. I went through and found the function. So just in case your compressor leaks down, the way this was programmed, it wouldn't turn on because it was looking for the signal. I went in and found that in the parameter settings. So if the pressure switch is made and upon a power failure or you restart, you turn this off on night. As soon as you turn the VFD main breaker on, it will start the compressor. So, be careful in these situations. Compressor is okay. You wouldn't want this in a table saw or something like that. But what we'll do is we'll turn the breaker on real quick. We'll show you what happens. Compressor should start up. We'll flip our main breaker. Okay, so you've seen as soon as we turn the breaker on, the compressor started up. So now it is in a run position mode. It's looking for a control from the pressure switch. So it works just like a normal compressor does. Pressure builds up, pressure switch opens, cuts the compressor off, vice versa, goes the other way. Our temp controller is pretty simple. You come up here, press set. Not sure how good this is going to show up on the camera, but what I'll do is I'll lower this down to below what our ambient temperature is right now. We'll just turn it down to say 70 degrees. We set it. You can see the fan comes on. Once it reaches that set point, it will come back off. And that's pretty much it. Pretty easy install. If you got some electrical background, Can read the instructions. It's not too bad. If you got any questions, like I said, just reach out in the comments. I'll be glad to help.